we're going to finish on a positive note, I swear, because we are going to talk about Rachel Nichols' Milwaukee Bucks,
Yeah, we are.
the defender of the Great Lakes region. Is that what we call people in Milwaukee? I don't know. What do we call cheeseheads? Well, that's Green Bay, I guess. Like the defender of Milwaukee, who has been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months, that the Bucks
Months.
should
Months.
keep Giannis in Milwaukee. Don't trade him. Build around him. Try to find a winner. Don't mess around with any of that stuff. Looks pretty good right now. The Bucks off to a very good start, well above 500. Giannis playing out of his mind. Like his numbers, as we record this, leading the NBA in scoring over 34 points per game, just having a monster statistical year. And things are going well right now in Milwaukee. Made a buzzer beater against the woebegone at this point Indiana Pacers to get a win there. How are you feeling about your Milwaukee Bucks? Are you thinking this is a nice little start, but maybe they regress the mean? Are you seeing things that make you believe this is sustainable? What do you think?
I feel good, Chris Mannix. I mean, look, it's very early, obviously. But even in this very early way, the top of the East does not look like people predicted the top of the East would look like. And there's plenty of time for those sort of situations to correct themselves. But you have to note that Milwaukee has the best player in the conference. And we say all the time in the NBA, if you have the best player, the odds are tilted towards you in your favor. It doesn't mean you're going to win every game. Doesn't mean you're going to, shoot up to number one in the standings, but it makes a difference. And in terms of the guys physically playing this season, he is the best player. And also, yes, he's off to this ferocious start. And, there may be that sort of common thing. Oh, is he going to be able to stick through the whole season like that? Can he continue? He has. I mean, it's just lost in the sauce of the Nikola Jokic spectacular, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander leading a team spectacularly MVP race we had last year. But Giannis would have won the MVP in any other year because it was better than when he did win MVP. His numbers, his part, the way he led the team, all of the things he did. He is playing at that level of consistency and throughout an entire season. So I wouldn't expect anything different from him this season. Thanasis is back. He's happy. They got his younger brother on the roster now. I mean, it's a jovial locker room. Doc Rivers, for all the criticism he gets during the playoffs, is playing the roster he has really well. He's putting guys in position to succeed. And I know the roster didn't excite, you at the beginning of the season for one and several others, but they actually have made some upgrades in a number of positions. He's surrounded by shooting. They've got guys who play better defensively. I mean, the Miles Turner trade has worked out well for them. I don't know. Again, I'm not saying they're going to, make the NBA finals and they're beating everyone else in the East, but I feel good about the stuff I have been talking about for months, which is you don't let go of a player in his still prime who is once in a generation, who in Milwaukee's case is once in 50 years. And you try to do everything you can with the circumstances you have to win. And I feel like they're doing that right now. And I'm very interested to see where this goes and what sustains and what doesn't.
All right. The Giannis output is absolutely sustainable. This is Giannis. Like, is he going to average 35? Probably not. Is he going to average 28? Probably. Maybe even 30. He's done it before. Yep. His rebounding numbers are going to be great. I'm not surprised that Miles Turner fits. Like it works in that front court. I've always believed in that front court. The rest of it I didn't see coming. Like, no way anybody saw Ryan Rollins coming. Like, no way. If you told me that you saw Ryan Rollins, who is challenging our guy AJ Mitchell for most improved player right now, right. You tell me that you saw this guy averaging like 17 a game with 6 assists, the starting guard, I do not believe you. This guy's got some moxie. He's playing with some swagger. I do not believe for a hot minute that you or anyone else saw Ryan Rollins coming. So I didn't see that coming whatsoever. He has been brilliant for that team. Kyle Kuzma as a sixth man, really good, really good. I did expect him to get better in his first full season with Milwaukee, having a training camp, understanding the system, and he has really played well. Efficient numbers in that sixth man role, giving you points like 12, 13 per game. That's really good. AJ Green, like his shooting percentages are insane right now. He's like 57% from the floor, 51% from three, another hugely high value guy that John Horst has hit on. As a team, they're shooting better than 40% from three right now.
Yeah.
And that would be a franchise record for them. They would not, they've never shot that kind of number before. The number 2 in the NBA in 3-point shooting percentage. Now, they were, I think, number 1 last year in 3-point shooting percentage, but they had
Yeah.
Damian Lillard last year. So it's like, I kind of anticipate that. Are they going to be able to keep up that pace of 3-point shooting this year? I think that's a big, big part of what they're doing offensively. They're shooting some threes, they're making some threes. So I think that to me is the biggest question. I believe Giannis is going to be great. I believe Miles Turner is going to be fine. I am very pleasantly surprised with what I've seen from that backcourt rotation, that wing rotation. Now it's a question of, they've done it for 7 or 8 games. Can they do it for another 70 more?
Yeah, no, I mean, that, of course. And until these guys prove it, we don't know. But what allows you to have good shooting, a table set for good shooting, is a guy like Giannis who defenses are drawn to. We talk about Steph Curry changing the geometry of the court. Giannis Antetokounmpo changes the geometry of the court and makes everyone else's job easier. Because if you have that one more second of open space to shoot, if you have that one more guy who's maybe 2 steps a little further away from you because he's also looking at what Giannis is doing, if the coverages end up that 2 guys end up on Giannis because of your screens or whatever else, or someone decides to double him, you have more open lanes as a shooter. And I just think that reality of the table is set for maybe average shooters to be above average, that is going to consistently move forward on a Giannis Antetokounmpo team with the way Doc Rivers is coaching them right now. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see if they use that table to their advantage. But I just like it. And we talked so much this summer about like, oh, the East, it's so bad. It's wide open. Like it's anyone's game. If this is the year, if you're the Knicks, like if you don't make it this year, you're never going to make it type of thing. It's bad for a lot. I mean, it's not like just the Knicks play bad teams. Milwaukee's playing bad teams. There are a lot of teams in the East. We talked about the Pacers. Like they just beat the Pacers because the Pacers don't have Tyrese Halliburton. And they're not going to have Tyrese Halliburton all year. So those are going to be probably wins for Milwaukee. I mean, they blew a game against Sacramento, but, that's going to happen once in a while. I just think that they have the best player in the conference. And as long as they're being coached well, and as long as they've got other guys who buy into what their roles are, which they seem to have, you mentioned Kuzma as the 6th man, I don't see why they can't do well. I don't see why they can't be top 4 in the East.
Ryan Rollins was such an incredible find for this team. Ryan Rollins was drafted in 2022 by Atlanta. He gets draft night traded to Golden State. He's part of that Jordan Poole, Chris Paul Wizards trade.
Right.
Was it 2023? Plays sparingly for the Wizards. Comes to Milwaukee, plays sparingly early for Milwaukee. Last year, gets about 15 minutes per game, averages 6 points. This year, those minutes doubled, and the scoring output has more than doubled. Like this guy, I mean, I don't know where he was or what he did to get to this point, but he is a huge reason why this team is where they are right now. He is, like him and AJ Mitchell, 2 of the best stories of the year so far. It's really been something to watch with those guys. Now we'll see if they can sustain that. Are they a 5-2 percentage type of team? I don't know. They're certainly above 500. And I guess if Ryan Rollins can keep it up, if AJ Green keeps shooting mid 40s from 3, anything can happen in Milwaukee. You may be proven right that the Bucks holding on to Giannis was the right thing to do. Maybe Giannis
it was. It was.
Maybe it's Ryan Rollins that leads Giannis to sign an extension.
Look, even if he doesn't, right, they still have one more year to play with there, right?
Well,
so if Giannis does not sign an extension.
Yes and no. They're not going to keep him, though, if he doesn't sign the extension. Like,
No. I just mean that they don't have to make that decision this year. Everyone who was sort of saying, okay, Damian Lillard's hurt, just trade him now when he's got more trade value. Giannis Antetokounmpo will always have trade value. And so if he doesn't just sign an extension this summer and he ends up being on an expiring contract for the following season, they will still get very good trade value for Giannis Antetokounmpo. There are several teams that you and I know are holding roster spots and salary slots open for him. There is no way, no scenario where one more or less year on his contract is going to drastically change the market for Giannis. So they have this year to go for it as much as possible. I never thought that they should trade him this summer. And then you'll just have to see what he says at the end of all of it, how he feels. And he went into this season, by the way, saying, I think we have a pretty good team. And a lot of people were like, yeah, sure, whatever. But he felt that way. And that's really the most important person who needs to feel that way.
He knew what Ryan Rollins was. He saw it.
Exactly, before we did. Well, look, who was the most improved player this past year?
Oh, God, I forget. Who was
A
it?
guy who didn't get an opportunity and didn't have as much minutes on his previous team, who went to Atlanta, and
Oh,
everything changed because he got different opportunities.
yeah. 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 I mean, look, it's Ryan Rollins, it's AJ Mitchell, most improved candidates. I might be more impressed. I mean, no, I can't say that because I was really impressed with AJ Mitchell. But Ryan Rollins, playing for what, 3 teams before landing in Milwaukee, and clearly they were onto something the end of last year when he was playing more significant minutes. They kind of
Yeah.
knew what might be coming with him, but he's just been outstanding. And you're right. Look, it's kind of a best case scenario at this point. They're competitive. They're playing at a high level at the moment. They've got some young pieces that seem to work opposite Giannis, and Giannis is playing out of his mind. So he's not diminishing his trade value one bit at this stage of his career. All right, Rachel, well, you are obviously welcome in Milwaukee whenever. Free bratwurst and booze for you. Anytime
I'll
you
take
visit,
a free beer anytime.
anytime you visit Milwaukee, because your unflinching faith in the Bucks hanging on to Giannis and building around him seems to be being rewarded at this moment.